time in our Tenerife 25 adventure. It is Graham here, living the dream on Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. And as I said for the last time, I'm standing at our balcony at room 1105 at the H10 Gran Tenerife, of course. And this, guys, is the last episode because Fiona and I are heading home today. It's just after 7:45 in the morning, the earliest Fiona and I have been up at all during this Tenerife even 25 adventure. And the reason for that, guys, is we need to go down and get breakfast because we're checking out just after 9 a.m. Our private transfer to Tenerife South International Airport is sometime between 9:35 and 9:45 according to Jet2's most recent email. So if you continue to watch this episode, you can follow Fiona and I as we head back to our home in Glasgow from this fantastic resort in a decky, or as it played in Americas, in Tenerife.
Hi, I'm Graham, and this is my wife Fiona, and we have always had a work hard, play hard philosophy. From London to New York, and of course the Caribbean, we live our dream through travel. And of course, the odd cocktail. And here on YouTube, we create our memories while living our dream. So come and join us as we share our memories with you.
Right, we out of here? Time to go. Sadly, as the title says, all good things come to an end, and it was time for Fiona and I to head home. Checking out of the H10 here in Tenerife was very straightforward. The only bill we had to pay for was the towels that we'd taken €1 a day. So Fiona and I were simply sitting here in the lobby area waiting for our Jet2 private transfer back to Tenerife South Airport. Jet2 had sent Fiona and I text and emails informing us that our Jet2 private transfer would be picking us up from the lobby of the H10 Grand somewhere between 9:35 and 9:45 in the morning. But in the end, the minibus that would be taking us back to the airport arrived about 9:25. Really impressive. And I'm sorry about the wobble, guys. It is just a bit difficult to hold the camera and push this case at the same time. As I said in the dedicated video looking at the Jet2 private transfer when we arrived in Tenerife 10 days earlier, Jet2 make it very clear in the Canary Islands they use these minibuses as their private transfer to and from the airport. These minibuses are probably overkill for Fiona and I, just being the two of us, but they are super comfortable on the short journey between the hotel and the airport. And it wasn't long until the airport came into sight. Like airports around the world that I seem to visit these days, Tenerife South is not immune from construction. And it was as we headed in to the terminal, we started to see lots of Jet2 representatives in their very recognisable red polo shirts. And again, those red polo shirts and the red branding makes the Jet2 check-in area very easy to spot. However, for a brief time I was less impressed with the Jet2 line to check in, but give Jet2 their place, the line did move fairly quickly. We were all heading to a wall of self-check-in counters, and just after self-check-in it was off to bag drop. So despite what first looked like a very long line for Jet2 check-in, the
The process took less than 15 minutes. It was very impressive. The only slight criticism that I had was the amount of self-checking kiosks that seemed to be broken. We managed to check in one of our cases before the kiosk we were using broke down, and then we had to be directed to another kiosk to check in the second case. Security, on the other hand, was pretty straightforward. But unlike UK airports, where you no longer have to empty your bags, you did have to remove all liquids, laptops, iPads, etc. Just like you used to in the UK. And just like airports the world over, Fiona and I had to run the duty-free gauntlet. After duty-free, we arrived in the main airside part of the terminal, and Tenerife South certainly has seen some modernisation over the years. Travelling to the UK from Europe is certainly not as easy as it used to be. I don't blame the Spanish authorities, because they're no different than any other European country that has had to put in different processes for people heading to the UK, which is probably not that different to heading to any other country outside Europe, which of course we are these days. If I was to blame anyone, I'd blame the 51% of UK voters that actually voted for Brexit, taking us out of the EU. I'd love to tell you about all of the exciting benefits that the United Kingdom have experienced since Brexit, but honestly guys, there's absolutely none. But you do get to stand in these queues for a prolonged period of time while your passport is scrutinised and you're stamped out of the country. Guys, I don't even get a stamp when I travel to the US these days, but travelling to Spain, you get stamped into the country and you get stamped out of the country. Yeah, if somebody can tell me the benefits that we've had since leaving Europe, please put them in the comment section below. But from a Jet2 perspective, it was clear our flight to Glasgow was boarding. And being in boarding group 1, we would be the last to board. Yes guys, go figure. And you guessed it guys, just like our arrival in Tenerife 10 days earlier, we'll be heading back out to the aircraft in a bus. And as you can imagine, it's nearly impossible to film on one of these bus journeys out to the aircraft. There's simply too many people, but more importantly guys, there is too many kids, which you don't really want to get in your video if at all possible. But boarding by steps does give you a unique perception of the aircraft that were taking us back north to Scotland. So sitting comfortably in seats 6F and 6E, Fiona and I were ready for our flight back to Glasgow. But when I say comfortable guys, I mean comfortable at the moment, because I know after 4.5 hours on a Jet2 Boeing 737, we ain't going to be that comfortable when we get off on the other side.
You'll find a safety instruction card.
It has all sorts of safety information, with details about emergency doors and escape routes, oxygen masks, how to use the life jackets, the brace position, and more.
And you'll find even more safety info in our Jetaway magazine.
Always a fairly long takeoff roll on these Canary Island to UK flights or vice versa. On this particular flight from Tenerife South up to Glasgow, we were on what I think was a completely full Boeing 737, including everyone's bags and enough fuel to get us back to Glasgow. This was a lunchtime flight that departed Tenerife at 12:20. So I'd pre-ordered these chicken bacon and mayo sandwiches on the Jet2 website before we left for Tenerife about 3 weeks ago. And you know what, guys, for aeroplane sandwiches, they were pretty good. But after we ate our sandwich and drank a can of Coke Zero, we sat back and enjoyed the 4-hour, 20-minute flight back to Glasgow. And as a result, the first time I looked out the window, we were approaching Portaferry and Strangford Lough in County Down, Northern Ireland. Donaghadee in County Down to Port Patrick in Dumfries and Galloway in Scotland is only 21.7 miles. So when we were overhead Stranraer, which you can see below us now, we were well into our descent to Glasgow. We always make a joke that you know you're in South Lanarkshire, or in this case, overhead South Lanarkshire, when you can see nothing else but wind turbines. Until just over 4 years ago, at the time of making this episode, Fiona and I used to live in South Lanarkshire, and all we could see was wind turbines when you looked at the countryside around us. So as we descended over East Kilbride, the pilots were setting the 737 up for an approach onto runway 23 at Glasgow. The only unusual thing about this flight was the fact that we left Tenerife at 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit just over 4.5 hours earlier. Because as we made our approach over the Campsie Hills towards Glasgow's runway 23, we would be landing where it was 27 degrees Celsius, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep guys, Scotland was warmer than Spain. Anyway, as we turn on to final at Glasgow, how would I summarise this Jet2 service from Tenerife back up to our home airport? To be completely honest guys, it was absolutely fine. Jet2 do tend to deliver every flight we've ever been on. While I accept the seats are certainly not the most comfortable airplane seats you'll ever sit on, in my opinion, this UK budget holiday airline outperforms our national carrier, of course British Airways, by a country mile. So as we descend over Mulgai and Bearsden, I'm going to be bringing this episode, and in fact this entire Tenerife 25 series, to a close. And to be quite honest with you guys, I've got absolutely no idea what's coming next on the channel. At the time we made this trip, Fiona was just over a week away from her second surgery this year. And as a result, we've planned no further trips until we assess her recovery. So all I would ask is for a little patience, but don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon to be notified whenever I do post my next video, which I've got no idea when that will be. So I'm going to shut up now and let you enjoy this landing on Glasgow's runway 23 on one of the warmest days of the year so far. And thank you so much for watching.
You're not allowed to smoke or vape on the way to the terminal or in the terminal itself.
Our friendly customer helpers are all ready and waiting to help you. You can't miss them. They're wearing our famous red uniform.
To say thank you for holidaying with us, we'll be giving you one of our amazing Radiant vouchers. This gives you 5% off your next return Jet2.com flight or £60 off your next new booking with Jet2 Holidays. So claim your money off, book online on our Jet2 app, through our friendly call centre, or with your local independent travel agent.
And if you sign up for a free MyJet2 account, you'll also have access to exclusive benefits, tailored holiday inspiration, hot off the press news, and prize draws with MyJet2 perks. From everyone at Jet2.com and Jet2 Holidays, we can't wait to see you again soon.